Hi, I'm excited to be here today just to share a little about myself and my work. I'm a user experience designer and a service designer, but really I do design as research, and I'm a professor in a computer science department by choice because I want to work with people that can build the kinds of things I want to envision. So I've been designing human-AI interaction for 25 years. The very first system I designed for Philips was a TV show recommender back when Xena Warrior Princess was a first-run TV show. And this is actually, it was when we worked on this that we developed a method of scrolling that is on everyone's phone and tablet, but the focus of the research was the TV show recommender. And to me, it's like one of those lovely moments where you can have a very technical focus, but it's design that makes all the profit. This is a fun little project I worked on. We were interested in trying to make parents feel like better parents through their interaction with tech. So we gave location-enabled phones to families. We learned the pickups and drop-offs of everyone, and we could tell when is there a child that should be getting picked up, but no parent is moving towards the child. So it's like a smoke detector for forgetting your kids. And on a little more serious, I've done a bunch of work in healthcare. This is an interface we did that helps cardiologists decide when to implant a mechanical heart. So sort of, how do we situate AI in very life and death decisions? About 6 years ago, I kind of took a shift in my work and began to think, what is the process that we're using to design for AI? And I was frustrated that sort of everything in the world was the best that could be imagined by someone with a PhD in machine learning. And these are like wonderfully smart people, but they're not amazingly creative. So I became really interested in how can we make it easier for designers to bring their creative skills to really think of AI in an entirely new way. And I just start with kind of AI's super amazing. This is an image of the Kiva robots. This is these robots organize warehouses and they drive the shelves around. And so as people pack boxes, the thing you need is always right there. Amazon was so impressed by this, they bought the company and they made them get rid of all their other clients. So it's like exclusively Amazon. Another great example for me is smart pricing by Airbnb. They're doing kind of simple analytics to predict what's the most that you could rent your place for. And to me, it's like giving CEO-level business analytics to anyone just sort of renting their space. Finally, a little over a year ago, ChatGPT came out, lots of interest in LLMs and foundation models. This has been revolutionary, maybe a little irresponsible, but definitely transformative. And this tremendous success you see around AI really implies that we know what we're doing, but we don't. So right now, about 85% of all AI initiatives fail to get to deployment. I can't even get them out the door. Of the projects that do reach deployment, about half of them fail. So our failure rate's slightly more than 90%. This is a place where maybe some design thinking can help. And so this became really interesting for me. The four main reasons projects fail. One is you just can't build the model. You're working on something that's too hard. Your data's not good enough. You're just never going to achieve model performance. Another big one is your system will cost more money than it can ever generate. A great example here is Amazon's Alexa. They're losing $10 billion a year on Alexa, didn't really think through the financial model, just pushed it into the market. The tech works great, but it's all premised on the idea that people would shop, and they never sort of prototyped that because no one's shopping over Alexa. Oh, another reason projects fail is they don't produce value for users. Everything in healthcare is like this. They're making a bunch of systems. Clinicians don't think these are helpful, so they simply don't use them. And then the final reason projects fail are for ethical reasons. So biased data, privacy violations, and sort of these are the four main things we need to be aware of when we're running a process to create new AI products and services. But failure's not our only problem. My team has noticed a lot of situations where just things aren't getting made, and we call this low-hanging fruit, situations where a little bit of AI could have a big impact, and it's wanted both by users and by service providers. So one of my favorite examples in this space is Instagram. You may have heard of Instagram. This is a Meta company. They have the world's best data scientists, the world's best UX designers. Instagram really wants influencers to post. When influencers post, they attract a lot of users that consume ads that make money for Instagram. But the Instagram app never learns which tags influencers use when they post, and it makes them type the same tags over and over and over every time they post. So why can the best data scientists and the best UX designers simply not notice these obvious situations? In thinking about AI innovation, it's important to keep a distinction between invention and innovation. So for me, Philips' creation of the cassette recorder is an invention. This is a new capability for recording and playing back audio. Designers do really well with this. We take those capabilities, we recognize when someone needs it, and we create a product form so people experience those capabilities as valuable and meaningful. So you get things like boom boxes, letting kids take music to the playground, home answering machines, meaning you didn't have to stay at home waiting for an important call, and Walkmans, which gave people a very personal music experience. This kind of innovation does not happen right now in AI, but it's definitely a space where design could have a big impact. As I talk to companies, what I repeatedly hear is data science teams come up with ideas customers don't want. Design teams come up with ideas that can't be built. Can we fix this? So I want to just spend a little bit of time on why projects fail, but kind of a quick summary is they fail because we're choosing to make the wrong things. And again, this is a space where design can really have an impact. A big part of the problem is design teams don't get invited to participate until they've already decided what to build. And no amount of polishing the wrong thing makes it the right thing. I've been designing software since the early 80s. We called this putting lipstick on the pig, and somehow when we innovate with AI, we are returning to software practices from the 80s. Does not work. Another problem is designers think of AI as a superhuman intelligence. This is a huge problem. That is not what AI is. I'm going to blame the media. The media loves clickbait stories like Target knows teen is pregnant before parents, or Google engineer thinks chatbot is sentient. These are like situations that are not actually true, but they perpetuate a myth. And so what happens is when designers and domain experts ideate, they focus on only things that are like super difficult for a human to do, where you need nearly perfect model performance to create value. And so the majority of the opportunity space is simply never explored. UX designers also struggle to understand what AI can do. There's a lot of literature that describes mechanisms, how an AI system makes an inference, but there's really no resources describing what are all of the things I can do with AI. User-centered design does not work, and I've run into this problem repeatedly. We keep trying it, we keep failing. Learn from our mistakes. AI projects start by choosing what to make. You can't take a user-centered approach because you've already said the solution must be AI. And when you do that, you turn teams into innovation hammers looking for nails, and you apply AI in a bunch of inappropriate places. So we need a different strategy for moving forward. My team's been doing some work really thinking about how to improve this. One of the things we really leaned in on is this issue of capabilities. So we spent 3 years really trying to understand what are all the things that AI can do. We looked across 14 different industrial domains. We pulled out a taxonomy, and that gave us sort of 8 high-level capabilities. We really thought we had cracked this problem. We recruited a bunch of designers, ran some pilot studies to show how much better they would be at ideating with our awesome tool, and it was a total failure. They were much better at thinking of a broad set of capabilities to use, but pretty much all of their ideas were unbuildable. And this kind of made us rethink what we were doing. And in searching around, we became inspired by some work from Google. So this is Casey Korzhakoff. She was the chief decision scientist at Google, and she trained their teams how to identify use cases where AI would be valuable. And she used this metaphor of AI as an island full of drunk people. AI can do things really fast, and it can handle an inhuman quantity of information because there are a lot of drunk people. But they're drunk people, so don't expect them to be smart, and don't expect them to do high-quality work. Where do you need speed? Where do you need scale, but not particularly intelligence? This is where AI makes money. We went back and looked at the 48 AI features that we had used to create our taxonomy. We mapped it to what we call the expertise model performance matrix, where the vertical axis is like how hard would this task be for a human, and the horizontal axis is how well does the model have to perform before humans start to think of this thing as valuable. And what was fascinating for us is 25, so more than half of all of the ideas that are commercially successful AI services have a model performance that's less than 90%. So this made us really think we need an innovation process for discovering what are situations where kind of super mediocre AI creates value. Because if you talk to data scientists, they can totally make mediocre AI. Definitely feeling they can do this. So I'm doing some work right now in the ICU, collaborating with a great set of clinicians and data scientists. We have a fabulous data set. And so we use this as a test case to try new ways of innovating. And the first thing we did was to just brainstorm with the doctors, nurses, and data scientists. None of them had ever brainstormed before, so this was new. They were highly skeptical. We just walked them through, and they actually found it super useful. But when we looked at the ideas, we plotted them on an impact effort matrix. Everything was difficult, and only half of the ideas were valuable. This is not a good process. So it made us rethink, and so we did another session with them where we really tried to prime them with examples of where is AI sort of working in a mediocre way but producing value. And when we did that, we produced all of our ideas that were valuable, and now half of them were going to be easy to develop. So it was transformative, and it's really kind of mixing human-centered design and technology-centered design together to sort of find the best of both worlds. We've been doing this with a bunch of companies. We've done it with insurance companies, accounting firms, consulting firms, and we're getting really good results at just producing better ideas. And so I just want to give you 5 quick takeaways from our work that you might find useful. 1, don't try to replace an expert. AI is not that smart. Think about replacing an intern. Or better yet, think about situations where it's better than nothing. That is like a sweet spot for AI. 2nd, be explicit in the way that you frame your innovation process. Are you versioning? Are you just trying to make little features that are about for the next version of a product? So you might think 6 months into the future, that's great for UX design. Are you thinking of a major feature, 18 months to 2 years in the future? That's really excellent for service design. If you're looking farther in the future than that, you really shouldn't involve design, because AI is changing so fast. These are really only technical questions. You really want design to function as facilitation. There's a lot of people talking about design-led innovation. That is not good in AI. Designers have absolutely no credibility. But design can definitely be an equal partner, and it plays an effective role at bringing domain experts and data scientists together and get them to work really well together. In thinking about what design adds, it's really this issue of ideation. We can help people do a better job of thinking of many things to make, and we can hold them accountable for really exploring spaces where model performance is not high, but we're still creating value in the world. So it's bringing that creativity, but it's not about designers coming up with the ideas. It's about them facilitating others in doing that work. Finally, we've created an AI brainstorming toolkit, and we are definitely happy to share and have others use this. So I'll just give you a second if you want to grab the QR code. We've used this again with many companies with great success. Finally, just going to take a second to thank my sponsors, National Science Foundation, National Institute of Health, the Center for Machine Learning and Health, Accenture, and Bloomberg. I'll just jump that back for anybody that wants it. Thank you.